I discovered my wife's betrayal. I nearly fell out of my chair when I overheard my unfaithful wife telling her lover, "Someday I might bring you over while he's here and force him to watch us together. We could set him up like we've done with those other fellas and completely wreck his life." Her lover asked, "Are you thinking about turning him into your submissive cuckold?" She burst out laughing. I couldn't recognize the woman I'd married anymore. That heartless woman had no idea, but she'd just started a battle, and I promised myself I'd fight back with everything I had. The discovery. It was meant to be just a normal quiet evening at home. I'd finished work early after a project meeting, poured myself some whiskey, and settled down with my laptop to wrap up some paperwork. My wife Leah had told me she was having dinner with her girlfriends, so I had the house to myself. I should have just enjoyed the peace and quiet, but something made me reach for her iPad. I only wanted to look at our shared calendar, honest. But then a message notification popped up right on the screen. Some weird glitch with the cloud had connected her phone messages to the tablet. And right there in front of me was a voice recording sent just minutes ago. I knew I shouldn't listen to it. I knew it was wrong. But something in my gut told me to press play. Her voice came through crystal clear, dripping with arrogance. "Someday I might bring you over while he's here and force him to watch us together. We could set him up like we've done with those other fellas and completely wreck his life." There was a moment of silence, then a man laughed. "Are you thinking about turning him into your submissive cuckold?" My wife cackled. It was harsh, cold, and cruel. "He trusts me so damn much. He'll never see it coming. And when it happens, I'll make sure everyone thinks it's all his fault." I sat there paralyzed. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. It felt like someone had poured burning acid straight into my chest, eating me up inside. I just sat there, clutching that iPad like it might attack me again. This was Leah, my wife. The same woman I'd comforted through countless anxiety attacks. The woman I'd celebrated birthdays with year after year. The woman I'd supported financially and emotionally while she built up her small business from our spare bedroom. Now here she was, plotting to destroy me, frame me for something I didn't do, and apparently, this wasn't her first time pulling this kind of stunt. "Those other fellas we've dealt with," she'd said. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just a husband who'd been betrayed. I was a target. But there's a big difference between being someone's target and being their equal opponent. A target just takes the hit. An opponent fights back. And fight back I would. She just didn't know she'd fired the first shot. Gathering evidence. I didn't get a wink of sleep that night. I sat in the living room, that iPad screen still glowing, playing that voice message over and over. Every time I heard her laugh, my stomach twisted into tighter knots. By sunrise, I'd started forming a plan, or at least the beginnings of one. Step 1 was to verify everything. I wasn't about to act purely out of anger. That's exactly what they expected. That's how other men ended up yelling in front of judges or getting police escorts from their own homes. Not me. I'd play the role they expected, the clueless, trusting husband. But behind that mask, I'd be investigating, collecting evidence, and building my case. I needed the complete truth. Leah stumbled home around 1 in the morning, smelling of fancy perfume that wasn't hers and wine someone else had bought her. She leaned over to kiss me as I pretended to be half asleep on the couch. "Hey babe," she whispered. "Sorry I got in so late. The girls just kept ordering more drinks." "It's fine," I mumbled, rolling over. She never noticed my hand slip under the blanket to stop the audio recording I'd just started. A couple days later, I attached a GPS tracker under the rear bumper of her car. Nothing fancy, just a basic magnetic one that would show me where she went. While she was still asleep one morning, I used her face to unlock her phone and forwarded all her voice recordings and cloud files to a hidden folder on my external hard drive. I also got into her email account. That's where I found him. Marcus. Mid-30s. Looked like a gym trainer. No real career to speak of, but tons of smooth-talking charm. His Instagram was full of shirtless mirror selfies and half-baked quotes about masculinity and dominance. They weren't just exchanging flirty messages, they were making actual plans. They discussed ways to provoke me, test how much I would tolerate, even dig up dirt on me. Marcus had apparently done this before, helped women sabotage their marriages to get freedom and alimony payments. She called him Coach. The irony of that title made me sick. I discovered she'd opened a secret bank account, kept a burner phone hidden in her gym bag, and worst of all, she was setting the stage for false domestic abuse allegations. Messages like, "When you push me, I'll say he grabbed me. Just one bruise and I've got a solid case." That's when the red fog of rage almost took over, but I managed to hold it back, barely. I wasn't going to yell or plead or warn her. No. That's exactly what she wanted me to do. Instead, I created a spreadsheet. Made folders and files. Set up multiple encrypted backups. I took screen recordings, logged dates, tracked patterns. By the end of the week, I had 47 audio clips, 6 videos, and more than 70 pages of email chains and text messages, everything I needed. And with every click, every file saved, every lie exposed, my anger cooled down. It hardened into something sharp, focused, and deadly. The counterattack. There's a special kind of calm that comes over you when you've crossed a point of no return. When there's no turning back, no hesitation left, no fear. That's where I found myself. Calm. Precise. Focused. And completely done playing nice. Now that I knew Marcus's name, habits, and favorite places to hang out, I knew exactly how to hit him where it would hurt the most. But I wasn't just going after him. I was going after her too. They had laid out their entire plan for me to see. So I started rewriting the ending. Step 1, leverage. I started with Marcus. His ego was definitely his weak spot. His arrogance wasn't just online. It seeped into every conversation he had. He recycled the same pickup lines and manipulation tactics over and over. Marcus used identical tactics, the same lines, and similar games with multiple women, including wives, and several of them were still married too. Using anonymous social media accounts, I reached out to 2 of these women. I sent them screenshots, audio clips, calendar entries, all packaged in a simple message. You might want to ask your husband why his gym sessions always end up at the same hotel. One woman answered within 10 minutes, the other in just 5. The consequences wouldn't be immediate, but I was banking on the ripple effect. Soon enough, Marcus would have too many angry women closing in on him than he could possibly lie to. More importantly, his carefully crafted image as a fitness guru would start to fall apart. But I wasn't stopping there. Step 2 was creating a solid paper trail. I'd gathered enough evidence to legally demolish Leia. There was no way I was going to lose my house, my savings, or my reputation over this betrayal. Last Thursday, I sat down with a divorce attorney and stayed quiet while he went through my files. When he finally looked up at me, he just said, "You're going to walk away clean from this, possibly even with alimony payments." That was exactly what I wanted to hear. But simply walking away wasn't enough for me. No sir, I wanted them to really feel the consequences of what they'd done. During my investigation, I discovered that Marcus's gym lease was actually co-signed by Leah. I also found emails showing she had diverted money from our joint account to invest in his business. So I went ahead and froze that account. Then I canceled all our joint credit cards. Finally, I forwarded those suspicious emails to the IRS with a polite note. Hello, I'm just making sure these undeclared gifts are being properly taxed. One by one, I was stripping away their comfort. I wasn't ready to confront them yet. I wanted them to start sweating. I wanted them to feel the ground shifting beneath their feet without understanding why. Step 3 was what I called the slow burn. I remained distant but kind, unusually kind. One night I brought Leah flowers, the next I took her out for a fancy dinner. She seemed suspicious but also flattered. What she didn't know was that I had cloned her phone and could read every message she typed, see every selfie she deleted, and view every fake excuse she sent to friends. She didn't realize I'd hired a buddy of mine, an actor, to show up at her gym as a new client asking specifically for Marcus's training services, recording everything that happened. And she certainly had no idea that 1 week from now, her entire family would be gathered at our house for what she thought was a surprise promotion party, or what was waiting inside that USB drive in the gift box on the table. But I knew. I smiled through it all because the show was almost ready. The revelation. You know what's funny? They built their lie so perfectly that it made it incredibly easy for me to tear it all down. Our living room was packed tight, her co-workers, her family, and a handful of friends who always seemed to take her side. I played my part flawlessly, smiled at the guests, kept the drinks flowing, made sure Leah felt like the absolute star of the evening. She was absolutely glowing, laughing and flirting with that effortless charm of hers, completely unaware that she was just 10 minutes away from losing everything she valued. The gift table was stacked high with presents. A sleek white box sat right in the center, tied with a shiny silver ribbon. My gift. Inside was a custom USB drive shaped like a heart, one I'd rigged to automatically play the moment it was plugged in. Go ahead, I said, raising my glass in her direction. Open mine last. She smiled with just the right mixture of flattery and smugness. She made a real performance out of opening all the other gifts first, working the room like royalty. Then finally, she reached for mine. The ribbon slid off easily. The lid lifted. For a moment, there was complete silence. She pulled out the USB drive. What's this? She asked, turning it over in her hand. Plug it in, I replied calmly. It's a highlight reel. The whole room fell apart in just 32 seconds flat. Her smile vanished at second 4. By second 10, the entire room had gone dead silent. And by second 32, someone actually gasped out loud as her own voice played clearly through our speaker system. Maybe one day I'll invite you and this guy and we can make him watch us have fun, then frame him like some of the other guys. Make him crawl to me while I pour champagne for my real man. People shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Her father looked physically sick. Her boss muttered Jesus Christ under his breath. The screen cut to a blurred bedroom scene. Marcus's face was partially hidden, but Leah's voice came through crystal clear and unmistakable as she laughed about how simple it was to lie to her stupid husband. I watched her completely fall apart right in front of me. Her hand flew up to cover her mouth. Her legs started to shake. All the color drained from her face. Turn it off, she screamed. I didn't. I let the video play all the way through to the end, to the part where she bragged that I was too pathetic to ever fight back. That's when I stepped forward and delivered the final line, "You were wrong." I'd simply waited until it would hurt her the most. The aftermath. Leia's parents practically dragged her out of our house in complete silence. Her boss left without saying a single word to her. The next day, she was suspended pending a formal HR investigation. As it turned out, Marcus wasn't her first workplace affair, just the first one that got exposed so publicly. As for Marcus, his gym lease was terminated. Turns out it's pretty difficult to keep your clients when everyone knows you're a documented homewrecker. The IRS began looking into all those gifts he'd received over the years. Oh, and his wife? She served in divorce papers right in front of his gym. My actor friend who'd posed as a trainee delivered them on camera. The closure. The next morning, I sat on the front porch with a cup of coffee in my hand, surrounded by complete silence. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad either. I felt clean. There had been no screaming, no violence, no jail time. Just the truth, broadcast undeniably and irreversibly. She had wanted to humiliate me, I gave her an audience. She had wanted to make me beg, I made her watch as everything she'd built collapsed in a single night. And through it all, I never even raised my voice.